Pledge of Allegiance, followed by prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God, thank you for this day, for the people in our community, for our town of Boonville. Thank you for the leaders who help to make this community the good community that it is. Guide us and help us to make good ideas come to fruition so that Boonville will continue to be the good place to live, work, and play. Amen. Amen.
Good.
I just came from honestly close.
So you have to use
Roll call.
Meadows,
Here.
Beach,
Here.
Hurt,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
Ehlers,
Here.
Eaton,
Here.
Young,
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Thank you very much. Hearing of citizens' comments. This is a time when people that have come to make a public comment may go to the podium. We ask that you sign your name and your ward number for the record, and that you also state your name, and you have 5 minutes only to make a comment.
My name is Jubal King. I bought my house in 1992. I lived in Boonville a couple years before that. I paid property tax, also owned a farm in Cooper County. Worked at Nordine. I've 17 years. I worked at Toastmaster before that. I've spent money. I've in stores here. I've never relied on handouts. I've always worked for what I have. I retired 2 years ago. Up until that, I made the mistake of entering a relationship and allowing a person to live with me. Her abuse is more than I take, so I had to kick her out. She receives disability for mental illness. She uses that money to pay for drugs such as K2, meth, prescription, and other drugs, which makes her even more abusive. She has tried every way she can to screw me over. Phone calls harassing the city administrator has succeeded in running me out of town because of my dogs. No complaints from neighbors or anyone in Boonville. She uses that Social Security money to pay for phones and internet and computers to be a cyber terrorist. She's nowhere near Boonville. I get along fine with my neighbors. There's lots of kids in my neighborhood. There are lots of dogs in my neighborhood. I have no complaints. They have no complaints. But someone that's not even close to Boonville is forcing me to leave town because she harasses you over the phone.
Thank you, Mr. King. Any other comments?
For the record, I've never talked to her, but I think some of you have.
What's the address?
Something
Mike
on
Kelly,
Nelson
Ward
Street.
1.
Let's let Mike during public
Yeah.
comments. Let's hear the public comments.
Mike Kelly, Ward 1. Nice to see you guys. Missed you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Different from this side,
Yeah.
right? It's smiling. Wow. It's great to be a citizen of Boonville. I think the largest investment most of us have is our home. And I believe it's the bread and butter of a city and a community, our homes. There are other parts and other aspects, certainly. But when it comes to our homes and the investment we put into them, many of us rely upon them for our retirement, rely upon it for the next residence we may have, and the value of those homes, and the value of our community, and the conditions of some of the properties in Boonville, I believe, are affecting all of us. And I believe it's time for the city to have a conversation about that. You people to have a conversation about that, to decide if there's something the government can do to help with the condition of some of our properties. Now, I've been on your side. I know it's not an easy conversation. I'm not sure where it'll go. We had an aspect of that, the rental properties, discussed as part of a committee that I was chair for almost a year, starting last April. I am willing to come and talk to you as part of that conversation. Put me on the agenda. I have a presentation ready. I would recommend maybe what it's going to take to do that is one of you council members proposed during miscellaneous to put it on the agenda. It can be part of your discussion. It doesn't have to be the end all. You can go decide where to go from there if you go anywhere at all. But I do recommend you start with that and then see what else you may need to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any other public comments?
I'm Bob Bosma. I live just outside the city limits for now. Had a vision a year ago to bring the Vietnam Memorial Wall back to Boonville for the Heritage Days 25th anniversary, for the 175th anniversary of the signing of the charter for Boonville. And the process has been long and nervous at times. I'm here to report and thank the Boonville Tourism for contributing $2,500 towards the expense of bringing the wall here to Boonville. And then I got a call this afternoon from Heather Rapp. I didn't ask for any specific amount from Isle of Capri, but Isle of Capri has donated $2,000 to the wall. Some local organizations are taking up the rest, and so I'm happy to report that all of the expenses necessary to bring the Vietnam Memorial back to Boonville have been taken care of, or will be very, very soon. And the bulk of that, of course, from thanks to Boonville Tourism, and then a very generous donation from the Chamber of Commerce. And so we're looking forward to having the wall here for Heritage Days. Thank you.
Very good. Glad it's worked out, Bob. Any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of the June 2nd council meeting. You've had those in your packet and had time to review those. Are there any additions, changes? Seeing and hearing none, they will stand as presented. Consent items, we have none this evening. Presentation of accounts and claims. Mary, when you're ready.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries on various accounts against the City of Boonville, which have been allowed by the Council at the regular meeting thereof on June 16, 2014, the sum of $344,692.41. General Fund, $218,817.66. Sanitation, $31,341.56. CIP tax, $11,457.83. Waterworks, $16,089.82. Capital projects, $24,230.98. Wastewater, $27,249.77. Tourism, $7,016.15. Gaming, $8,488.64. Parks and Water, 0. Section 2, the bookkeeper is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $344,692.41, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on June 16, 2014, read for the second time the 16th day of June 2014, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Morris,
Mayor, I make a motion this be approved.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business. We have a second reading of Bill Number 2014-014, authorizing renewal of agreement for professional airport management and flight training.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing renewal of an agreement for professional airport management and flight training services by and between the City of Boonville, Missouri and Lamine Aviation, LLC, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Noah?
Mayor,
Make a motion that we approve this ordinance.
Thank you. Is this second? Second? Questions, comments? Earl, do you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I mentioned this a while ago when we did our, sort of our project list, that we kind of like fallen behind on doing this, and so this kind of, John's not an employee, he's a contractual thing, it kind of renews his contract, and it gives him a modest raise in his base fee.
Any questions? Roll call.
Meadows.
Yes.
Beach.
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Ayers.
Yes.
Heaton.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
New business, first reading of bill number 2014-015, amending Appendix C zoning regulations of the Code of Ordinances for solar photovoltaic systems and set public hearing for July 21st, 2014.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, amending Appendix C zoning regulations of the Boonville Code of General Ordinances and applying a multidisciplinary approach to application of the city's building codes, historic district regulations, and public nuisance regulations for solar photovoltaic systems, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Noah?
I just had a question. The public meeting, is that going to be just like 5 minutes before our regular second meeting of July? That will do that.
That's
right
usually
before.
right before the meeting.
Right, we're going out to July 22nd because this is a required public notice, in the paper and so forth, so it'll be a full public hearing on the issue.
Oh, so it's going to be more than just 5 minutes before
It'll be a
our...
full public hearing, whoever's here,
Okay.
will put on some information regarding the history of how we got here.
And you just said the 22nd, but here
I'm
it says
sorry,
21st.
21st.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, thank you.
But it's usually set like 5 minutes. It doesn't
Okay,
take,
okay, I just wanted to...
typically, yeah,
Okay.
right before the council meeting. I would like a public, motion for a public hearing for July 21st.
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we have a public hearing July 21st.
Okay? No?
Second.
Second? Roll call on that?
Meadows.
Yes.
Beach.
Yes.
Hurt.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Ayers.
Yes.
Heaton.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Thank you very much. First reading of bill number 2014-016, approving a minor subdivision of the Frederick T. Kemper Park, formerly the Kemper Military School.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving a minor subdivision of the Frederick T. Kemper Park, formerly the Kemper Military School, located in the west central part of Boonville, and all located in Section 35, Township 49 North, Range 17 West, Cooper County, Missouri, and recorded in Book 406, page 751 of the Cooper County Recorder of Deeds, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
if Earl would he explain that? I've had several telephone calls, I want to know why we did doing that.
Well, the core of it is we're splitting the admin building off from all the rest of the property down there into one parcel in and of itself only. And the reason we're doing that is to try to avail ourselves to some abatement monies that the state has available that can be used for cleanup. Not demolition, but cleanup of the asbestos and mold, et cetera. The crux of the matter is if you own the property, as the city already does, then unless you did certain things at the time you acquired it, you become the responsible party. Well, back when it was purchased, the city did not do the necessary things, so that it currently stands the city is now the responsible party. Since you're the responsible party, the grant for the abatement, you're not eligible for it because you didn't do things right in the first place. So you accepted the responsibility. So what we do is we split it, and we split it off this way to facilitate a temporary transfer to another entity who will do things right and not be the responsible party, so that they can then avail themselves to the grant, and go forward with the cleanup, and then once it's cleaned up, they'll give it back to the city to go forward with the demolition. So it's a long way around to get perhaps as much as $100,000 Obviously, we've already had some survey costs on it, there's some cost up front, but we don't believe they'll be anywhere near $100,000, so it should be a net gain to the city as an organization and the community, and will facilitate us in getting it cleaned up so we can demolish it, albeit at a measured pace.
Any other questions about that? I think the subdivision wording probably
Right.
throws people.
Yeah, it's no new development or anything like that,
Correct.
it's just a means to an end that no one could quarrel with, so.
Plus, it allows us to apply for a grant if we decide to do another section.
Yeah, that was the other trick, I'm glad you brought that up. They'll give you one grant per parcel.
Right.
So if we didn't subdivide it off, our 100 grand's gone. If we want to go back and do it on D or A or anything else in there, we can.
Right.
You know. So this will allow us to probably repeat this same process with another building and get another $100,000. So,
From a very practical perspective, the minor subdivision has us do a survey. The survey gives us the legal description. You can't transfer property without a legal description, so that's our mechanism to get that done.
Ned?
Morris asked exactly what I was going to ask. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, item C, consider accepting a bid from Crown Power and Equipment for a compact track loader. I think you had a memorandum from ML. ML, do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
We talked about this during our budget workshops. We are transferring, we're trading in a machine that it was here when I got here, so it's probably 18 years old, 20 years old. It's a machine, a wheel loader that Parks Department's been using. We're trading that one in. We've got an older wheel loader, not an older, but another wheel loader that we're transferring to Parks Department. And then this one is a compact track loader that we're adding.
Any questions?
No, I
Morris?
don't have a question. I was just going to make a motion that
Okay.
we accept the bid and ML's recommendation.
Okay, do I hear a second?
A second.
Thank you, Susan. Steve, did you have a question?
Was this in the budget?
yes.
Oh.
It's below budget. What
It
was in
is. We had allocated 60,000 and it came in at, well, I'd added options, but it came in at 5777, I think it is.
Ned?
It's okay to ask him the questions.
Sure.
Okay. ML, the 50,777, is that net of trade?
It is. It is. They, the prices I listed in my budget, not my budget, but my memo, is with the trade-in allowance. So you see the machine is a TV 380 from Case. It's 46,529, which made it the lowest, not the lowest because there was a smaller machine that Case made. It was the second lowest. And then I was able to add some options to it, bring it to 50,777.
Your comment in that paragraph was that the trade-in allowance is not specified. That's why I asked that
Well,
question.
what that mean is some of the bidders told me how much they were offering for the 1845, the one we're trading. Some of them didn't specify. For example, Bobcat of St. Louis specifically said they're giving us $6,000 towards the old machine. Crown Power and Equipment didn't specify it. That's Case Equipment. Foley, which is Caterpillar Equipment, didn't specify. JCB specified they were giving us $6,500 towards the trade-in, and Side and Strickler specified they were giving us $7,000. That's what I meant by not specified. In their bid, they didn't tell me how much they were allowing for the machine.
Okay, I'm still confused, because when you add the options, it's approximately 50,777.
Right.
Taking it from the 56, or the 46,529. Is the 46,529 the number net of trade?
The 46,529, that's correct. They have allowed the
Okay, that
trade-in
is
allowance.
net of trade.
That's right.
Okay, all right, thank you. I understand now.
As are all the others. He just shows you what they took off to get there.
Any other questions? Roll call. Yes, Susan.
Susan.
Okay.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Report of standing committees, Cemetery Board. Henry?
I was not able to attend that meeting because I didn't know when it was. Do you all send out agendas? No. Okay. So,
Okay.
since I wasn't there, but it seems like they had a good meeting, and I've driven through the cemeteries, they look good. Really look good.
Thank you very much, Henry. Police Board. Ned?
The minutes are in front of you. We've got some positions that are being hired for and some promotions that are being made. In fact, we've got interviews tomorrow night. So it was my first meeting, and I got to listen and learn.
Okay. Any questions for Ned? Okay. Board of Public Works, Morris?
Routine meeting, and they had a couple requests that was postponed until the next meeting to make a decision on.
Okay. Planning and Zoning, Becky?
Meeting was canceled due to lack of agenda items.
Okay. Reports of city officials, City Administrator?
I want to revisit, I think I briefly mentioned some ongoing matters with demolitions last meeting. I want to update on those. We've had a little movement on those. If you recall, there was a property up on 4th Street near the bowling alley, across the street from the bowling alley. And we've been working through that on a donation or quasi-donation basis. We were able to easily resolve the ownership issues. One gentleman owns it. He's divorced, but he had a decree and it was itemized in that, so we were comfortable with the ownership position on that, and he's gonna go ahead and donate it. We decided to make it look reasonable. We're gonna give him $250. So we're gonna get that, he signed a contract for it today. We're gonna move that through closing pretty soon, so assuming nobody changes their mind, that should resolve itself. The other one was a house over here on Morgan Street. You recall the little area where there's 2 or 3 of them in a row that are kind of a mess. This is the one closest to Main Street, coming back this way, I believe. And 313 Morgan Street, actually. And it's owned by what we've determined to be presently 3 brothers, all, I won't say they're elderly, but they're not youthful either. So right now, that seems to be relatively clear. But we need to, I guess, go about it a little more formally. And probably doing that is rather than us trying to convince all 3 of them they ought to come in and sign them to donate some property. They probably need to be represented, and so we've reached out to Mike Conway, and we would pay for his time to facilitate this. And he has a way that he showed us that was where they would sign the deed ahead of time so that we don't waste a bunch of time and money on, getting the thing set up and then they back out of it. So, they also are willing to donate it at this point, and we're not offering them anything above the donation, given the demo cost of probably $4,000 or $5,000. So I'd like to have your permission to hire Mike to sort of represent them, so it's above board and we get on with it. I think the risk is when one of these brothers dies, the ownership permutates through their children and off somewhere else and so forth and so on. So I think once it gets there, it's not going to ever be worth anybody's time to clean up the title to get the property back. So I think it's probably useful spending, I don't know, $1,000, $1,200, whatever we end up spending to get it clear title. We'll demolish it, and whether it's useful to anybody after that or not, I'm not sure, but at least it won't be because of the title.
What's the location again, Earl?
313 Morgan Street. I think it's the first one past the old lumber yard or whatever in there. So the one brother we've talked to has been cooperative, but we don't know the other two, so.
Okay. Noah?
Is it the intention, you have a plan on the backside of it once because it looks like we may get more than one now. If that's going to be a model going forward, we're going to have a policy in place that just says when we get these properties and we demolish them and now they're vacant lots, are we going to list them for sale, try to
You
get rid
can,
of them?
it's up to you. We've done that in the past. We usually have a neighbor approach us and say, I'd like
We
to own
buy it
that, so
Okay.
we usually make a bid out on it or something, rather than just offering it to him, so.
Okay. In that case, I'll make a motion that we move forward with the staff's plan to hire Mike Conway to facilitate the transfer of this property.
Okay, do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Corey. Roll call?
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
I have to abstain. I own a property right next door.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes?
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else, Earl?
I give you the information from Pam on the dog that we heard comments on earlier in the evening, so I would perceive that's going to get itself resolved.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mayor, I did put at your places this evening some appointments that I would like to make. We're still kind of wrapping up the board appointments. Tourism Commission, Teresa Krebs has agreed to serve on that. I think she'll be a good addition to that. Historic Preservation, I would like to appoint Edward Lang, Leslie Oswald, and Brittany Herzog Lowe. I think those will all be good appointments. So I'm looking for,
Make a motion to be approved.
thank you. Becky?
Second.
Okay. Comments? Roll call.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes?
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Thank you very much. City Councilor, Megan?
I have nothing further this evening.
Okay. Economic Development, it's not his time to report, so he's not here this evening. City Clerk, Mary, do you have anything?
Yes, I do have one thing. Jeff Martin, who is a chairman of the Local Agency Funding Committee, asked me to invite all of you to the presentations that will be made by all the agencies on Tuesday, July 8th, beginning at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. We'll have 13 10-minute presentations, and he wanted you to know that everyone is invited to attend if you'd like to be here.
Is it July?
Tuesday, July 8th.
At what time, Mary?
6 o'clock
6
starts at 6.
Thank you.
And there's 10 minutes each, and there's 13 of them, so 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock will be strictly presentations.
If you haven't ever been, it's very interesting. So, and it does give you a lot of background when you're getting ready to vote, and may have some questions about exactly what that money is being used for. It's all being answered in those presentations, so I would urge you to attend. Miscellaneous. Steve?
I'd like to make a motion to have Mike Kelly present his findings on the project concerning property values.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay. Roll call.
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes?
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Okay. Mike, I think you'll be coming back again, it sounds like. Morris?
I guess Bob brought it up about the tourism money for the wall. Is that going to be brought back to us for approval?
Through the tourism?
Yeah. I mean, don't we have to approve their expenditures?
Usually all the contracts do come through, but they already gone through. You guys usually run those tourism contracts.
Yeah, I
But you already done them? This one was very late. Oh.
It's after the initial
Right.
group of them. This is one that's added on at the end. I can't remember if they
Well,
do that in the past.
we approved, they brought a group to us that they had recommended for money, and we approved that group.
Uh-huh,
And this wasn't among that group.
okay. So this is just a formality. You're not saying you don't want to
I'm not
approve
saying,
it?
I don't know what the council will do.
Oh, okay,
I'm just saying that before they can spend the money, the council needs to approve it.
okay. Well, would you like to move to put that on the agenda for the next?
Yes, it's,
How much time do we have? Would that be after the Heritage Days?
Yes.
The next
a little
meeting is
late.
after.
Steve?
Does the tourism board not approve that? Is that right?
The city approves their budget.
why,
Right.
why did you
But
bring
this
the
was-
first list to us?
It wasn't on the budget.
Right.
Well, I don't know why we brought a list to you, actually.
Sherry, could you come to the microphone? I'm sorry.
Well, I really don't have an answer for that, but I thought that, I don't remember that it's ever come up before that you have approved every expenditure that we do. Is that how you all remember it?
Steve?
Was there any miscellaneous money budgeted in the tourism?
This was no, this is, we spent we had so much money allotted for grants, which I guess if we look back in the minutes, was approved by you. And so that was the last $3,000 actually that we had, was, we gave $2,500 that was to go to the wall, and we went ahead and gave $500 more for the chamber to use for marketing. So we gave $3,000, which that was all of the total of the grant money. I don't remember what it was, but that was all that we've allotted for the year, and that was what the commission voted to do.
No,
Yeah,
that's
they normally hold back money. They reserve money for potential projects that come up
Right.
over the year that didn't come up, so this is part of that reserve fund.
Which, that's my
Noah.
question, that reserve fund was part of the budget that we approved for
Yes,
tourism?
so we're not going above and beyond anything, so this was
Right.
approved by the Tourism Commission, that this is where they wanted to spend the money, so
No,
I have two things. First, to whom is the check being written? The 2,500?
well, actually, it will be through the chamber.
So we're writing a $2,500 check to the chamber?
They've already paid $2,500 to the
So
wall.
we're reimbursing the chamber?
We're reimbursing the chamber ultimately, because we couldn't give it to an individual, so the chamber had already paid $2,500 to reserve the wall. So the chamber came to us and said, we're trying to recoup this money, so being that it is a nonprofit organization, that was the way it worked the best.
what's your other question?
Yeah, the second comment is, I don't favor paying this back to the chamber, but the council issued an extraordinarily dangerous double-edged sword when it came to this. We had a conversation about this $2,500, and we went back and forth, and we turned it back to the Tourism Commission for their recommendation. Now, for us to come back after they've recommended to spend the money, even though I hate to reimburse that check to the chamber, for them to say that they want to do it, it's very difficult for me, having voted to recommend to give it to them, to now vote no. So it does bother me, Sherry, that we're writing a check to the chamber. But what I'm saying is that
Why?
we gave it to you.
Why does it bother you that we're writing a check to the chamber? I don't get it.
That was their money. It was their vote to write that check.
Right, but
So we're reimbursing them. And you remember, we went through the whole discussion of the outside agencies and not wanting to spend that money on outside agencies, and here we're doing that.
Outside agencies.
So, So
I mean, my position is, we understood that, first of all, Bob Bosman was going to come to us and ask for money. He did not. The chamber comes to us and asks for money every year for Heritage Days, every year. We chose not to fund anything other than some marketing funds. We gave them a billboard. That was what we did. Then we found out that they had paid $2,500 for the wall that they had hoped to get reimbursed for. But this is one of those rob Peter and pay Paul kinds of deals, to be real honest with you. We'd like to support the wall. We would like to see the wall be here. We do think that it will bring people into town. So whether I pay a check to the chamber, or whether I pay a check to Bob Bosma, or whether the Isle of Capri pays the chamber and I pay Bob Bosma, or the city pays Bosma, I think we're just standing here in support of the Vietnam Wall brick coming here through the chamber. I don't feel like I'm paying money to the chamber. I am supporting the Tourism Commission chose to support the Vietnam Veterans Moving Wall.
If I can help clarify that, actually, rather than establish a temporary 501c3 not-for-profit organization just for one event to do this, I approached the chamber and asked if they could be our banker, simply to collect and receive the funds, so that it would be out of my hands and out of anyone's hands personally, and they agreed to do that. And so the chamber was not really, they have not given us a penny. They did forward the $2,500 in lieu of raised funds to pay back to them, making it very clear to me that they had to be paid back. But it was not chamber money at any time, in my mind, other than just acting as a banker on behalf of the project.
Who signed the contract?
I did.
So
Morris?
Chamber and I both did, actually.
Chamber also signed.
that's what I was
So
going
they
to
have a
ask you.
signed
In other words,
contract.
is this your project or is this the chamber project?
Yes, it's my project.
So chamber, it's not a chamber project.
Well, because the chamber is acting as the banker in the project, the chamber and I both signed the contract agreement for the wall to come. But the Heritage Days Committee said they did not have the staffing or the funds to do anything with that. They wanted the wall to come, but did not have the wherewithal to make it happen. And so I'm making it happen, and they're handling the funds for it. So I'm just managing the project, and they're handling the funds, that's all. That make sense?
No.
Okay.
No.
A little back on topic, can we hear from you? I mean, do you, or even Earl, is our knowledge of what's going on here, do we feel comfortable that since
Yeah, I
the
think so.
miscellaneous was in the budget and approved, we don't need to vote on this?
If that's even the critical piece. My recollection is when these, first of all we approve in the tourism budget, other than as a part of the budget, are these specific contracts which were with individual entities. The reason for that, as best of my recollection, is probably goes back 25 years, and there was some lawsuit up in northeast Missouri about using public monies for private benefits. So the Attorney General's opinion, or whoever it was, said you need to have a contract that specifies the public benefit of your sort of granting these entities some money, so that it's clear what it's not for private, it's for public, even though some of these things look like kind of a private sector little thing. And I think that's what the original issue was. So that's all we approve. In this case, it would seem to me it's probably pretty hard to argue that it's a private endeavor or private benefit, given what it is.
And we've got such good documentation in all of our minutes as to the public benefit that we're bringing this wall for the public and the community to share, so.
So I'm not even sure that the contract would be relevant in that circumstance anyway. In which case, you're just back to the budget. As Kate alluded to, there's a contingency in the budget every year, has been since I came here. The amount of that contingency has decreased because if you recall, one of the initiatives they've had was to give fewer of these contracts and spend more on billboards and this kind of stuff. So that number has decreased. It used to be $10,000, $12,000.
Right, but we just heard from them, that the 3,000 was in there, it
Right.
was approved part of the
Right.
budget,
So I think
and that
it's okay.
they've used that fund, so,
So I think we're fine.
okay.
So is everyone comfortable with moving forward? Okay. Any other miscellaneous? Noah?
Yeah, you know, in hindsight, I feel as if I probably should have objected to our first speaker's comments tonight. And I have great concern that we would memorialize in our minutes personal attacks on personal citizens, whether they're from Boonville or otherwise. And so I don't know the appropriateness of striking any of the comments that were made by that speaker that relate to personal attacks that, you know, I don't think have any business being brought before us. I mean, obviously, his other comments concerning the subject about his dogs and stuff, I don't have a problem with, but the specific comments that he made, attacks against another person, I think, you know, in hindsight, I feel guilty. I think I should have objected. I think we all should have objected to it and stopped it in its tracks, because I don't know what our bylaws are concerning that kind of behavior during the public meeting, but I'm sure that there's got to be something that we shouldn't be singling out names and attacks.
I disagree.
Okay.
We've had several people up there that make personal attacks
Well,
on people.
Sure.
And nobody
but
has
I'm just-
ever objected to that.
I'm just saying I don't agree with it.
Okay.
And I'm
Well,
setting
you've
myself
never
out there. No,
objected
no, no.
to that when other people
Okay,
get up
I'm
there.
just putting myself out there now. I'm saying we should have. If it happened, we should have. And
It's his right to say whatever he wants, as far as I'm concerned. If not, then we should make that clear before he gets up there that he can't personally attack anyone.
well,
So,
I guess I would.
do we have a legal? Do we
Well,
have a?
I mean, that's part and parcel to the public comment issue. We do have regulations that talk about decorum and what we will allow within the public forum, and it traditionally goes to safety and belligerentness and those kind of things, not necessarily to a personal attack. So I think it's a judgment call at some point in time. You know, that's why we have a sergeant at arms in the room, and ultimately the mayor is the person who makes the call as to whether something is tipping over. The problem with striking it in the minutes, that went out the door when we went live on the internet. So if it's going to be live on the internet, it's going to be in the minutes.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Ned? One very quick thing. In the tourism transition plan, the job description that was attached is 2 years old, and my reading of it, Kate, doesn't show anything that we need to add or subtract, but I just wanted to make sure that we got a good thorough review of that before we published it. Okay. I'm sorry?
Yeah, Earl and I and Lisa reviewed it.
Good, good. Good plan, by the way. Nice work.
I guess I would like to make the comment that on this pit bull issue, I think we would be better off if we allowed the staff to work out those details rather than councilmen try to take on those responsibilities. There's a lot of things, and that's what we're paying them to do, and if they can't work it out, then yes, we need to bring it to this group. But I think we need to stand back and let them do their job, because I think this was sort of hot and stirred a little bit, and sort of maybe got out of hand a little bit. So that's my comment on that whole thing.
Yeah, and if I may follow up with that,
Yes.
my role in this really was exactly that. I mean, and I think that's typical of how I handle something like this when it's brought to my attention. I took it to the appropriate staff member, which was Pam, and then, of course, she contacted me right away and filled me in on the information she was aware of at the time. And at that point, I just told her I would let her take care of it, and I'm assuming it worked itself out from when we got here this afternoon. When I saw the memo here that it appears that it has worked itself out. Obviously, there's other issues here at play that are uglier than just our concern.
And I think that was made apparent pretty quickly to everyone involved.
Yep.
So everyone knew that it was a hot issue.
Yep, absolutely.
So I guess my concern was that you sent the email to Ned and Susan, which
No.
confused me.
Well, the original email was sent to all of us, and I just
Right.
replied all.
Yeah, it was sent to all three of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I just
Okay.
replied all, just so that they would be aware
Okay.
that I was going to contact Pam
Okay.
and put it in her hands. And Pam was great. She got back to me immediately,
Okay.
filled me in on what was going on, and that was really the last. I washed
Okay.
my hands of it at that. I let her take care of it. So.
Okay,
And then to follow that up, when nothing had happened after 4 weeks, then I emailed to Earl to see what he knew about it and where he was. But there was no, no promises made to Ms. Simmons, is that her name, Mrs. Simmons, I think?
I don't even
There
know. Like I said, I just
Not
forwarded
by any of us.
No.
well, I think you promised her a report.
A report, sure. And it was promised to me.
Okay, any other miscellaneous? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh,
We got a motion going in closed session.
oh, I'm sorry. Would you
Mayor, I'll
please
make
do
a
that?
motion, Go into closed session, RSMO 610, 021 legal.
Is this a
Okay,
new
do I hear a
issue, or is
second?
this a company
Second.
that wasn't covered in the old?
Roll call?
Meadows,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Eaton,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.